This is going to be a real treat. I have the pleasure to be joined, and this is what it's about, it by an educator, a community stakeholder, and mentor, and so much more. Miss Claudia, you got one of your scholars in here, so I didn't want to give the full name, but I'm going to let you go ahead and do that. What the scholars call you, but Claudia, I got the opportunity of known of, but engaged with here a couple weeks ago, and just made a tremendous impact on me. So definitely wanted her to be here. And then we've got the scholar Leonard, Jayla, and I already said it before, she got one of the best smiles in the morning that you could ever imagine. And so with that being said, welcome to both of you, and thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. It's a great opportunity to be here. I think anytime that we can get our scholars in here and is a great opportunity. So thank you so much.
Fantastic. Well, we'll get to Scholar Leonard here in a little bit, but Ms. Claudia, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you've been, and what you're all about.
Okay, so yes, my name is Claudia Perales Garcia. I like to put that accent on my name because I am Latina. I like to make sure that people know that this is who I am. But I was raised in Lexington, Nebraska. So that is where I come from. I'm not even from Lincoln.
Awesome.
Was raised there. I graduated from Lexington High. I joke around and I say that Lexington High is kind of like the Huskers because we have a huge fan base. And Lex, I mean, you know about us. Like
yes.
We do not.
Was it the Minutemen?
Yeah, that is us.
The Minute people.
There's a Minutemen and then Minute Maids.
Minute Maids. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so I joke around because I'm like, maybe we won't always win, but our crowd is there and ready to pump us up. So I am proud to be from Lexington, and we have a huge diversity there as well. And so, yes, but I teach at Park Middle School, and I've been teaching there for 4 years, but I've kind of been a little bit in the district. I've been at Keller Middle School with ELL, and then Lincoln High with ELL as well. But now I am teaching the AVID program. So, and if you don't know what that is, that's it. It stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And then I also teach social studies. So
fantastic. Well, you do so much. Tell us just like a little bit about, you talked about, where you're from, but tell us a little bit more about your family and the influence they've had on you to get into education.
Oh my gosh. They are my backbone. I mean, they are the foundation. They are the ones. There is this beautiful picture where the dad is, because my parents are from Mexico. I was born in Mexico as well.
Okay.
And they brought me over when I was about like 4 or 5 months. And there's a beautiful picture an artist drew where you see the Mexican country, like Mexico, the country, and then you see United States, and there's this like dark bridge. And the dad is that bridge. And he has his daughter walking on his back with a backpack. And that represents them like moving from Mexico, to get us into a better education, better life. And it just represents what I am, my family is, and what they have done for me. They are my foundation, they're my backbone, and they're the reason why I have these opportunities today. But my mom always wanted to be a teacher, and she never got that opportunity. And so early on, both me and my sister knew like we wanted to be educators. I remember inviting my neighbor's kids over, and I was like, okay, you're going to sit here and I'm going to teach you math. I know nothing about math. There was no reason I should have been taught.
2 + 2 is always 4. There you go. Carry the 1.
I just wanted to teach. I just knew. I was probably like 7 years old when I did that. And my mom got us desks. I mean, it I don't know why I was doing that, but I knew this is what I wanted to do.
Awesome. In the place you're supposed to be, you were destined to be, and that was your purpose. Scholar Jayla, tell us a little bit about who you are. We know you go to Park Middle School, but just tell people what they should know about Jayla.
I was born in Hastings, Nebraska, but then I moved to Lincoln.
Okay. So what you're at Park, what grade are you in right now?
8th.
Okay. And so how's that feeling? You're on top of the hill at Park Middle School. You're probably running things. You're probably like the assistant principal. So what do you do at Park? Like what's your involvements during the day? I mean, I know obviously you have classes. Talk about like one of your favorite classes, but also what are some other things you do outside of like the math, science, and English?
My favorite class has to be like AVID.
Okay.
Because like you really get to like treat people the same. Like everyone's the same in that class. No one's different.
That's fantastic. And you talked about that. Obviously, is Miss Claudia one of your teachers? So in regards to that, what else do you do? I know you're involved in some athletics as well.
I am in this thing, like, I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's kind of like student council.
Okay. And so you're already developing leaders. And so Claudia, as you've talked about like the engagement, and I got the opportunity to meet Jayla during one of those engagements, talk about the importance of just involvement and representation. And she talked about like being somebody that, nobody's treated differently.
Yeah, and Jayla, you're forgetting you're a volleyball player.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yes. I'm also an assistant coach. So I assisted coaching volleyball this year. And yes, Jayla is a setter. Come on, Jayla. You got it.
See, you're on a sports talk show. You never know. You might have like Nickel Haynes or somebody come in here. Tell us about your volleyball skills. Why do you enjoy volleyball? Is that one of your favorite sports? Do you like other sports?
Volleyball is my favorite sport, but I do like other sports. But I like volleyball because it kind of copes with like stress. Like at the end of the day, like it just kind of like helps me, especially when you do conditioning. It kind of like makes me more stressed out than anything.
She went straight to the conditioning point. See, you needed to talk to Miss Kirkland that was here last week. She talked about they do the mile at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning for cheer. So I know a little bit about volleyball. My daughter plays. I don't know a ton. I'm getting to know more and more, but I know the setter position is extremely important. And so what's the most important thing about being a setter?
There's actually more than one, but for me, it's important to like know who's actually gonna get it at the end of the day. Because like one person may like call it, say I can get it, but they might not like be there ready. So you just kind of gotta like
getting everybody prepared and getting them in that spot. So and you make the decision on who gets that ball.
And you got to trust them too.
That trust is huge. So as we build off that trust piece, as an educator, we talk about relationships quite a bit. And I've heard a lot of people say, it's not a policy, it's not a practice, but I always say they matter. Mm-hmm. And so talk about the importance of, relationships in the line of work, not just coaching, but also as an educator, a classroom educator, how vital is that? And then who's been some mentors in your life?
Oh my gosh. Relationships are everything. And I have been saying this, and I will put that first before anything. And that is what I love about the AVID class, is that it really puts a focus on relationships, that relational capacity piece, because a student is going to respond to you differently if they know you are doing it from a place of caring and you care about them and you want the best for them and you've made that clear for them. And even though they're upset with you, you're still going to say, I love you because like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be hard on you because I love you. And I make sure I tell my scholars every single day, I'm like, I love you. And to them, sometimes they hear those words and they're like, that's weird, Yep. But I'm like, that means that you're not hearing it enough. You're not hearing it enough. And I'm like, you need to know that I care about you, and that is what that you are going to be willing to carry a binder with and keep organized and write in this planner every single day. And this is so much responsibility, but you're going to do it because I care about you, and you're doing it because we have that relationship piece. So that's what I have to say for relationships. But for mentors, I have had so many growing up, and I always say that you have to have a mentor anywhere you go. Wherever you are at, find that person who's going to be your person, and it's going to change. And maybe it's not going to be the same mentor throughout your whole entire life, but you have to find your mentor in any place you're at. So for example, in elementary, I had Mrs. Hicken. She was my mentor. She was the person that I would always go to. Shout out to her, 5th grade teacher. Love her, still in communication with her today. Middle school, I had Mrs. Bartling, who was my homeroom teacher. Same thing, 3 years. She was my person who I would always go to, who I can confide in. High school, I had Mr. Spontansky. I wanted to make sure I put those names out there because they really were the people that anytime when I would get in trouble, because I was a troublemaker, they turned my direction. They're like, you need to make sure that you're going on this path, and they would set my head straight. Same thing. One more in high school is Coach Roberts. I was a cheerleader, captain of the cheerleading squad, and she was really, once again, my person. College, Jennifer Harvey, my scholarship director. Along with Monica Mueller, two of my biggest mentors in college. And then today, I have Alyssa Martin, my principal, Charlotte Everett, and then Sean Williams, who have guided me throughout my educational journey. And these are people who I look up to. And I say, I always have to find my person, no matter where I'm at in the building that I'm at. If it's in church, I need to find a person there. But that's what I have to say about mentors, because you need to make sure you have a mentor anywhere you go.
And I think when, I've always used Maya Angelou's quote is one of my favorites. I often forget what people have said. I often forget what people have done, but I always remember how people have made me feel. And so the power that you spoke and how you put those names out there, but didn't speak about specific situations, but you spoke about how they invested in you, how they empowered you and how they engaged you as a person, as a scholar, as an equal. Speaks volumes. Again, you're here with Pete Ferguson on Bigger Than the Score on 93.7 The Ticket. And I am joined here with Miss Claudia. We're going to use the educators' names today. Miss Claudia, and we've got Scholar Jayla, who is a volleyball setter, but also an exceptional scholar, multi-involved in so many ways. And she just shared about, Miss Claudia shared about some of her mentors in her life. And I hope many of them were listening, but the fact that you're still in contact with them today is extremely powerful. Jayla, kind of the same question. Who's somebody for you that is a mentor or that is invested in you in your life to help you become who you are today?
Probably Miss Perales.
Okay.
Because she's just always there. Like, you need a shoulder to lean on, she's your shoulder. And she's always trying to help push not just her students, but every student at Park to be better than they are. And to, like, push them down the right path, because some of them aren't taking that path.
And I think we always talk about, I got the opportunity to engage with your classes, and we talked about, the focus of our engagement was every day you get a choice and you get a chance. And what I remember about you is you came up and you were talking and you were engaging and having a conversation, and, people would ask a question, and because they made that choice and they took that chance, they were rewarded for something. And you came up and spoke afterwards, and that's what resonated when I called and said, one, I needed to have Miss Claudia, on this show to share what she's been sharing. But you made a choice to come up and speak and took that chance and came in here today. And so I think that resonates for me with you. Tell me, what do you aspire to do after middle school, high school? What do you plan on becoming? Who do you plan on impacting? That 20,000 question everybody always asks. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I would like to be. I would like to play volleyball in college, and like, I don't really want to take that like to more profession. I want to do something like, because you can't be an athlete forever.
Okay.
But
well, who told you that? I'm up here getting ready to go ahead and make my pro debut this afternoon.
Oh.
No. Look, she's like, I don't want to crush your dreams, but yeah, that sweatshirt is hiding some things. So
no, but I want to be like an architect or an engineer.
Wow, that's all right. That's all right. Architect or engineer, she's gonna make some money, Miss Pearl. She's gonna be taking. We had that senior benefits show on a little earlier. She's gonna be the one taking care of us as seniors. Talk to us a little bit about, what are your future aspirations in the educational field? Or, do you plan on, being principal, running a building, superintendent of, Lexington, Lincoln Public Schools? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Everyone I've come in contact with has always been like, are you going to be a principal one day? Like, you should be a principal one day. Like, you need to be an admin, and because I'm always looking at, like, what are the things that we can change in school? What are the things that we're missing? What are the things that our students are missing, and that what are the opportunities that we need to get to them? And like, they always think that I have this eye for being a principal, and I'm like, that's sweet, but I'm like, I'm not there yet. Like, stop trying to push me into administration, right now, because I would really like to be a counselor first, get all of that mental health that I need to know behind, like, you know, as background like information, and like be able to like work with students one-on-one. And then I will look into being an administrator, because yes, one day I would love to be principal of a school, and my ultimate dream is to open up a school in Mexico. So that's where I see myself long term. But right now I'm like, I love LPS. Lincoln has done some great things, you know, and I love what you're doing, and and how you're talking to these scholars and how you're empowering them. And I'm like, I see myself doing the same thing, you know. And so I think right now I'm working on my counseling degree, and I'm making sure that I got that under my belt before I go into admin. But yes.
Fantastic. Well, as we roll in the break, I want to just thank both of you all for who you are, what you do, the impact that you made, not only on me in my engagement with you, but on so many others. And Scholar Jayla, I'm waiting for you to go ahead. The architect, volleyball engineer, that's got a nice ring to it right there. And then Miss Claudia, without question, just you're knocking it out the park, and you're where you need to be, and you'll continue to grow. And so thank you for your investment and so many others.